Life has a way of revealing unexpected twists and turns at any age. I suppose I've always envisioned a time when I'd have everything figured out, a serene, effortless routine devoid of the troubles and pressures of my younger days. Yet, maybe life unfolds differently. There are moments that catch us off guard, prompting a reevaluation of our understanding of certain truths. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Eileen, a vibrant 63 years young. After a journey as a school principal and raising two remarkable children, I thought I had a clear sense of my identity. 5 years have passed since my spouse departed. Since then, I've woven a tapestry of tranquil routines, embracing morning walks, nurturing my garden, and staying connected with family. It seemed that the thrill and unpredictability of my younger days were long gone. Yet recently, something has shifted within me in ways that elude my comprehension. It started with such subtlety that I barely perceived a lingering glance, a hushed instant, a bond that appeared innocent until it revealed its true nature. In our family, there's a young lad named Caleb, who has been a cherished companion to my son Adam for many years. He held a place in my heart akin to that of a son, a figure I had always placed my trust in and held in high regard. Yet, in the blink of an eye, everything shifted. A peculiar stillness settled between us, an unvoiced tension that lingered, leaving us both at a loss, unable to face the uncharted territory of our shared silence. And we reflected on it. It's a perplexing journey to navigate how years of steadfastness and confidence can swiftly transform into a delicate state of uncertainty, prompting me to reflect on the events of that day and the reasons why this chapter of my life continues to linger in my thoughts. Yet, my life, while not extraordinary, unfolds in a way that brings me joy. It brings me joy, just as it is. After more than 30 years in the realm of school administration, I made the choice to step into retirement, envisioning a tranquil chapter ahead with my spouse. 5 years have slipped by since Neil departed from this world. He was a steadfast and caring individual, and in spite of our differences, a deep love bound us together. Parting with him was a profound challenge, yet I discovered resilience in the rhythm of daily life and the deep bonds with our children, especially my son, Adam. At 35, Adam stands as a pillar of reliability. Neil and I have journeyed through a remarkable career in engineering, and his unwavering steadiness and determination evoke memories of Neil himself. Caleb possesses a thoughtful and gracious demeanor, his serene and reflective spirit inviting a sense of ease and comfort in those who gather in his presence. It has always been a blessing to witness the enduring bond between Adam and Caleb throughout the years. Caleb's presence infuses the house with a unique energy, a steady calmness that I truly value. Having tended to my garden, I chose to treat myself to a soothing cup of tea and a tranquil day within the comforts of my home. In a moment of stillness, Adam found himself away from home, engaged in a meeting, leaving the house enveloped in a serene silence. Just as I was about to settle into my chair, a knock echoed through the room. I expressed to Caleb how wonderful it was to witness his joy over the surprise visit. If you find yourself with time to spare, step inside and make yourself at home. He paused for tea, then nodded. I'd enjoy that. It has been a while. We settled into the living room once I had a chance to unwind. In those initial moments, our exchange danced lightly, filled with ease and warmth. We shared tales of work, family, and the tapestry of life. Yet, there was an unmistakable shift in the air, a sense that something was amiss. Perhaps it was the stillness of the vacant home or the easy flow of our dialogue. Yet as I offered him a cup of tea, a curious sense of ease began to wash over me, enveloping the moment in a gentle warmth. Our fingers intertwined, and he quickly pulled my hand back, a sheepish smile gracing his face, creating a moment of silence between us. The shared unease between us, where words eluded our grasp, felt like a subtle yet poignant gesture. Just a hand on my line and a fleeting moment of doubt. Yet, Something shifted in that instant. I sensed a warmth and awareness blossoming between us, an unexpected connection that transcended the ordinary, transcending simple camaraderie. I dismissed it as a fleeting figment of my imagination, reassuring myself that it was merely a brief lapse, a consequence of the tranquil afternoon's embrace. As our conversation flowed, I began to draw my attention, highlighting the subtle details, the manner in which he leaned forward as I spoke, his quiet laughter echoing, a warmth in his gaze enveloping me. It was as if an unseen barrier had been established between us, a silent understanding that neither of us dared to address. Yet, both felt keenly by the moment Caleb departed. An unusual sensation lingered within me and an awareness of him that hadn't been there before. I tried to shake it off, telling myself it was nothing. But the memory lingered, leaving me with a strange sense of anticipation and bewilderment in the days that followed. That afternoon with Caleb lingered in my mind, refusing to fade away. I tried to brush it off as just a fleeting moment. The recollection of his touch, his gaze, and the subtle intensity in his eyes lingered in my mind. I found myself feeling rather silly for even entertaining the thought and letting my imagination drift uncharted territories. Caleb held a special place in Adam's heart, a bond that felt as close as family. Observed the transformation from a college student into a respected professional. Yet, I couldn't shake off the subtle excitement that had stirred within me in his company. The feeling of warmth and solace that remained long after he had departed. I found myself pondering whether he had experienced it as well, or if it was merely, in the depths of my mind, a fleeting sensation emerges, stirred by the echoes of solitude and the bittersweet embrace of memories long past. I dismissed it, convincing myself that I was merely overanalyzing. Yet, the sensation remained, haunting me like a lingering question in the shadows of my thoughts. A week later, Caleb returned, this time with a sense of ease. I welcomed him to sit for a while, feeling that familiar warmth from our previous encounter. Our conversation flowed effortlessly, shifting from light-hearted subjects to deeper, more personal reflections. He shared insights about his career and his aspirations for the future, the trials he encountered as he shared his tale. A wave of pride washed over me, reminiscent of a mother witnessing her child step into adulthood. Yet, there lingered an additional layer of burgeoning awareness of the way he regarded me, his gaze filled with an attentiveness that hinted at an unspoken bond. Both instinctive and disquieting. As our discussions deepened, each encounter brought a growing sense of intimacy, the silent strain intensifying. It was a gentle, unspoken connection that lingered between us, an awareness we both sensed yet chose not to voice. I attempted to reassure myself that it was merely friendship, but beneath the surface, I recognized a deeper current of feeling that caught me off guard and left me uncertain. As the weeks unfolded, Caleb's presence only intensified this complexity. As his visits grew more frequent, each arrival stirred within me a delightful blend of anticipation. Amidst the warmth and understanding he brought into my life, I found myself caught in a web of guilt. I cherished his company and eagerly anticipated our time together. Yet, a growing unease began to settle within me. A subtle unease lingered within me, a whisper of doubt that perhaps I was crossing a line, nurturing emotions that were not meant to blossom. For our journey together, one evening, as we gathered in the living room, reminiscing over an old family photo album, it struck me how deeply I had come to appreciate his company. We gathered in the living room, sharing tales of an old family collection of memories. It dawned on me just how deeply I had come to appreciate his company. We chuckled over memories and exchanged tales, and for a fleeting moment, I experienced a warmth of companionship I hadn't known in years. Yet, as he leaned in to gaze at a photo, his arm brushed against mine, in opposition to mine, and I sensed my heart quicken. It was a seemingly insignificant moment, a mere connection. Yet, The closeness and the warmth of his touch ignited a thrill within me that I couldn't overlook. As I gazed into his eyes, a fleeting moment unfolded between us, a connection that transcended mere friendship. It was a silent, unvoiced bond that stirred within me a mix of exhilaration and fear. I understood that I needed to put an end to this distance on my own before it spiraled out of control. Yet, every time I attempted to persuade myself to halt our encounters, a wave of regret washed over me, accompanied by deep yearning for the comfort and warmth he infused into my life. The emptiness that settled in my heart since Neil's departure was undeniable, a subtle pain that had woven itself into the fabric of my daily life. Caleb's presence filled that void, weaving a tapestry of companionship and understanding that I hadn't realized I needed. Though I was aware that my feelings strayed into the realm of the inappropriate, I found myself unable to release them, unable to close the chapter, threshold to the singular bond that ignited my spirit. One evening, with Adam still away, Caleb stopped by to deliver some groceries he had picked up for us, and I extended an invitation to him for St. More reflective, Caleb opened up about his battles with solitude and the challenges he encountered in navigating the delicate dance between his professional ambitions and his personal life. I absorbed the moment, enveloped in a profound sense of empathy and understanding, a bond that transcended mere words. As I stood there, immersed in the rhythm of washing dishes, I suddenly felt a gentle hand on my shoulder. Caleb's hand, a familiar touch that stirred a moment of connection. It was a gentle caress, soft and comforting, yet it enveloped me in a warmth that I couldn't overlook. As I lifted my gaze to meet his, I discovered a mirror of emotions in his eyes, an unspoken yearning and a profound depth that resonated between us. That moment rendered me utterly speechless. "I do not know," he began, his voice gentle and almost hesitantly, "how to say this, Mrs. Caldwell. There's an undeniable connection that lingers in the air between us. There's something stirring within me, an undeniable pull that I simply cannot overlook." My heart raced, a blend of wonder and unease swelling inside me. I felt the urge to cast it aside, to deem it trivial. Yet deep down, I recognized that would be nothing but a falsehood. I gazed at him, taking in the raw vulnerability etched in his expression, mirroring the same uncertainty and longing that stirred within me for Caleb. I responded, my voice a mere whisper, "We cannot proceed with this. This path is not one we can follow." He nodded, yet his hand remained on my shoulder, a silent comfort that revealed his own uncertainty. In that stillness, we found ourselves entwined in a dance of unspoken feelings, each of us wrestling with the gravity of what lay between us and the uncharted territory we had quietly ventured into after what felt like an eternity. He took a step back, his face a canvas painted with regret. "My sincerest apologies, Mrs. Caldwell. It was never my intention to evoke those feelings in you. You truly did not." I present him with a gentle smile, recognizing the intricacies of the moment. As the last bite was taken, a hush fell over the table, enveloping us in a quiet moment of reflection. The air was thick with tension, yet there was an unexpected warmth to it. I understood that what had transpired between us was genuine, yet utterly beyond belief. And though our words were few, an unspoken understanding lingered between us, a recognition that certain boundaries remain sacred, regardless of the allure they held. They may appear in the weeks that follow our discussion. Caleb kept coming around, yet we greeted each meeting with a fresh sense of caution and courtesy. We held a quiet pact and an unvoiced comprehension that we would temper our feelings, steering clear of anything that might be misconstrued. Our visits, once brimming with effortless laughter and soothing silences, transformed into meticulously crafted dialogues. We all felt the palpable divide that had emerged between us, and despite our efforts, the tension lingered in the air, unmistakable and heavy. A fleeting look, a delicate movement, the manner in which our dialogues occasionally meandered towards softer, more contemplative themes. Every moment pulsed with greater fervor, Every visit was a delicate dance, teetering on the edge of camaraderie and an unvoiced tension, leaving me in a state of suspended anticipation, as if I were holding my breath for the next shift in the air. As I sat in the living room one evening, I found myself longing for the simplicity we once shared, that effortless friendship that now seemed to fade amidst the increasing intricacies between us. A book we both recently read, Caleb's hand brushed against mine. The touch was ephemeral, a whisper of contact, yet it coursed through me like electricity, a vivid reminder of the emotions I was desperately attempting to suppress. I caught his gaze, our eyes locking in a moment that was both gentle and electric. He swiftly averted his gaze, yet the silence that enveloped us brimmed with an unvoiced connection, a shared struggle to uphold our boundaries. Even as I reminded myself that we were merely friends, I had also woven myself into these moments, the warmth and companionship that Caleb offered, and the thought of releasing that bond enveloped me in an unexpected sense of loss. As I sought to carve out some space, my days began to fill with a tapestry of activities and plans, one of which was joining a local gardening club. I started to wander the streets of my neighborhood, hoping to keep my thoughts from wandering back to those serene moments shared with Caleb. Yet, no matter how hard I try, every time he came by, the bond between us only grew stronger. One Saturday, we found ourselves in each other's company once more, diving into a conversation that had us both in fits of laughter. The atmosphere was buoyant, nearly whimsical, yet beneath it all lay a current of unease that neither of us could overlook. I noticed it in the way his gaze held on to me, the way his smile turned tender, as though he too was wrestling with the urge to keep things carefree, to overlook the connection that deepened with every encounter we shared. The silent pact we shared started to feel delicate, as if it might shatter any moment. As the weeks unfolded, it became clear that we were nearing a pivotal moment, one where we had to face the unspoken feelings lurking beneath the surface. There were moments when I would catch him looking at me, his expression a mystery, as yet he found himself pondering the destination of this journey we were on. With every surge of emotions that washed over me, I found myself caught in a whirlwind of excitement, fear, and guilt, each feeling intertwining in a complex dance. I sensed that the feelings swirling within me were fraught with peril, hinting at outcomes neither of us had yet wished for. Even as the risks loomed large, I found myself unable to utter the words that would sever the bond between us. With each day that passed, the tension escalated, transforming our encounters into a fragile dance of restraint and unspoken desire, each of us carefully holding back, conscious of the limit that neither. Each of us stood at the edge, yearning to cross yet unable to release the bond that had drawn us together. It was a tangled, aching sensation, and many nights I lay awake, pondering the duration of our fragile waltz, questioning how long we could continue to overlook the feelings bubbling just below the surface. Yet, within the depths of my heart, I understood that this moment was fleeting. We danced on the edge of flames, caught in a thrilling game, yet it became clear that one of us would eventually need to step back and face the hard choice of letting go. As much as I feared that moment, I understood it was inevitable. The truth loomed larger, an undeniable presence that grew more difficult to overlook with every sunrise. As the weeks unfolded, the delicate equilibrium I had strived to uphold began to shift, and with it, the burden of guilt settled more heavily upon my shoulders. A lingering sensation clung to me, a whisper of betrayal echoing in my mind. I felt as though I was undermining Adam's trust, compromising my own principles, and perhaps even letting Caleb down. Allowing my heart to weave itself into the fabric of attachment. In a moment of weakness, I found myself drawn to something that had no rightful place in our lives, a temptation that promised only pain and remorse. Every time the thought of severing our connection crossed my mind, a wave of sadness washed over me, a deep reluctance to release the one bond that had filled my life with warmth and significance to my days. Yet, deep down, I understood that I couldn't carry on in this manner. I began to delve into the depths of my emotions, seeking to unravel the threads that had woven such a strong attachment within me. Perhaps it was the solitude I had experienced since Adam's departure, a subtle pain that had woven itself into the fabric of my existence without my awareness. Caleb had stepped into that emptiness, offering a warmth of companionship and a depth of understanding that I hadn't realized I was longing for. Yet, in that moment of reflection, I recognized the weight of my emotions, realizing they were misplaced and that I was jeopardizing far too much for a bond that held no promise. One evening, as I found myself in solitude in the living room, I resolved to face my feelings head-on. Seeking clarity about what I genuinely desired, I came to understand that, although I cherished Caleb's presence, it was my own that truly mattered. It dawned on me that the solitude I felt stemmed from my own yearning for connection. Guiding me along this journey, Caleb emerged as the unexpected presence that filled the emptiness, offering a sense of comfort that took me by surprise. With unwavering resolve, I decided to create some space and forge ahead between us to weave a realm where I could release the emotions I had nurtured. The choice weighed heavily on my heart, leaving an emptiness within, yet deep down, I understood it was the path I had to take. I could no longer bear the burden of guilt that clung to me like a shadow. This sensation of betraying my own principles in my quest for renewal. I sought a path to reclaim my essence and mend the solitude that lingered within, determined to embark on this journey alone, without leaning on others for support. On the following day, I intended to have a conversation with Caleb, where I would softly convey that we needed to uphold. There was a need for some distance, a delicate balance to maintain the boundaries of our friendship and honor the lives we had both crafted. Even though it brought its share of heartache in that moment, I understood that this path was the sole route to serenity, a means to safeguard the essence of our bond, all while avoiding a step that could plunge us into remorse. As I readied myself for the conversation, a blend of sorrow and relief washed over me, a feeling of resolution that enabled me to view the situation with a more discerning perspective. I understood that this was an essential journey to embark upon, a choice that would ultimately guide me onward and release the emotions washed over me, a subtle yet unwavering resolve, a conviction that I could find my way back to the tranquility and balance I once cherished. Our last conversation lingered in the air, a blend of sweetness and sorrow, a gentle conclusion to an experience that had woven together threads of happiness and uncertainty in my journey. As Caleb stepped through the door that evening, I welcomed him inside, sensing the gravity of the occasion hanging in the air. There lingered an unmistakable feeling that this marked our farewell. In the living room, we found ourselves seated, each acutely aware of the tension that hung in the air, a palpable weight forged from the emotions that had been simmering over the past several months. I struggled to uncover the right words to express everything swirling within me, all while trying to shield him from pain and avoid adding more complexity to the situation. Caleb, I began, my voice soft yet unwavering. I've been reflecting deeply on our connection, and I feel it would be wise for us to create some distance. Our friendship holds immense value for me, and the thought of losing it weighs heavily on my heart. Yet, I find myself hesitant, not wanting things to become complicated, more intricate. He gazed at me, his face a canvas of empathy intertwined with a touch of sorrow. I see, Mrs. Caldwell. It was never my intention to stir any tension or complicate matters. A wave of unexpected regret and sadness washed over me as I sensed it in you. Caleb, you stand unblemished in this moment. It seems I have woven myself too deeply into the fabric of my emotions, and now I must gently untangle those threads to seek the tranquility that resides within me. He gently nodded for a fleeting instant. A silence enveloped us. A quiet understanding that our gatherings were nearing an. And so, the tale comes to a close, signifying the conclusion of a chapter that was both meaningful and brimming with unexpressed feelings. I'll miss you, he murmured, his voice a fragile whisper, barely breaking the silence, and I reply, I will miss you dearly. Indeed, I sensed a lump rise in my throat. Yet, this is for the best. It's the very essence of what we both seek. We exchanged a lingering gaze, rich with unspoken words, as I navigated through the weight of the moment. The understanding that this was farewell washed over me, bringing with it a surge of feelings. A sense of relief washed over me, mingling with a deep sadness and a quiet gratitude for the bond we once shared. Though it was fleeting and intricate, Caleb found himself rising to moments of contemplation. He enveloped me in a tender embrace, radiating warmth, a soothing embrace that seemed to bid adieu to all we had experienced together. As the door clicked shut, a wave of emptiness washed over me, a deep, lingering pain that I understood would require patience to mend. Yet there was a subtle power within me, a tranquility that had eluded me for weeks washed over me. With a sense of assurance. We knew we had chosen wisely, each of us taking a stride towards safeguarding our lives, our principles, and our honor in the days that lay ahead. As I pondered our connection, I recalled the moments that drew us near and the feelings that loomed, threatening to separate us. I came to understand that, although our bond was profound, it also served as a poignant reminder of what truly matters, of limits and the essential duty to safeguard the connections that shape our identities. Even in Caleb's absence, a part of me understood that parting ways had been the wisest decision, a choice that would grant me to advance with a clear vision and a determined spirit. As I gazed into the horizon ahead, a calm resolve stirred within me, urging me to seek solace in my own heart, to mend what was broken. The solitude that guided my steps along this journey, and the wisdom I chose to embrace along the way,